Hello students, welcome. Good afternoon. Here I am taking English of class 6th, and in that today we are taking chapter 10, class 6th English, and in that chapter 10, Christmas with the Cratchits. So students, we have been discussed about that this is a Cratchit family, Bob and his wife and his 4 children. In that a girl is also there, and they are so poor as Bob is a clerk under an old businessman who is a miser and not giving enough money, sufficient money to them of their wages and works. That is why, as we know, in Europe and in Christian countries, most of Christmas has been celebrated enormously and have been, like as we see in Diwali and Holi festival, we used to celebrate and used to buy, purchase new things, and used to make some type, flavored and flavored dishes. So like that in Europe, people used to celebrate Christmas in this way. They used to make meat and wine and kind of celebration they can do. So this type of celebration also in the family of Cratchits, although it is a poor family, but they are celebrating what they had in their fortune. As we know, Tim, one of his son, is in sickness, he is ill, he is having diseases, but he is also of positive mind, and from a procession, from a program they had a goose, means duck's meat, and they prepared for their Christmas evening, and with finishing their meal, they had some pudding. Pudding means foods which are used to eat after taking meal, after taking the dinner or lunch or breakfast. So normally in dinner, after taking dinner, it is being used. Pudding, that means food which are taken after dinner, that means sweets. Some people used to take sweets to make good digestion. Some people used to take some mouth freshener. So this is known as pudding, and that type of pudding also has been used in to take with someone taking wine or anything else. So this is known as pudding. So now students, we were on page number 77 and second para of that page, third para of that page. Hello, a great deal of steam. The pudding was out of the copper. So after finishing the dinner of them on Christmas evening, Mrs. Cratchit, mother of them, took pudding in a vessel, and it was steaming because it was hot. Steaming is half nickle. So it was steaming in that because it was hot. So next door, so the pudding was out of copper, a smell like a washing day, that was the cloth, a smell like an eating house and a pastry cooks next door to each other, with a laundress next door to that. So nearby them, there was a house of laundress, that is Dhobi, Wasserman. So from the house of him, it was smell of cloth washing, and in the house of Cratchits there was cooks smell, food smell, and at the same time I smell like an eating house and pastry cook next door to each other, with a laundress next door to that. So in the next house of laundress of washerman of dhoti. There was also pastry and cooks, that means samosa, kachori, you can say nasta, pastry, that is samosa, kachori. These all things in pastry cook. So next door of his washerman, there was pastry cooks and smell of them. So they were smelling that. At the same time, their mother, Mrs. Cratchit, came along with a plate. In that it was steaming, and in that there was pudding, something was there which can be used after eating food, after meal. So in half a minute Mrs. Cratchit entered. Mrs. Cratchit entered, flushed but smiling proudly, with the pudding like a speckled cannonball. So she was smiling proudly that she had pudding. Most of the poor family, there has been anything used after taking meal. So that day she was being proud because that day, because of Christmas, somehow they have been arranged of pudding, and that is why she was smiling. She had a proud smile, and when she entered, so she has a pudding looking like of cannonball. If you see the Hindi, that is toka gola. And this was pudding shaped like this, and speckled cannonball. चित्तीदार टोका गोला या धब्बेदार टोका गोले की तरह वो pudding था जो खाना खाने के बाद खाया जाता है. तो pudding which is used to eat after meal and after dinner. So she took that pudding which was looking like speckled cannonball, so hard and firm. It was so hard and firm, blazing in half quarter of ignited brandy. So with that, cannonball, there was a kind of wine, brandy. You can understand that sarab ka ek prakar. Brandy is a kind of wine which is used sometimes for medicine also, and having less effect compared with other wine. But it is a kind of wine, and it was ignited, that means chamakdar. So there was an ignited brandy and beaded with Christmas holly stuck on the top. So along with this cannonball, along with this brandy of wine, there was a kind of plant leaf of Christmas tree, or so plant and the leaves of Christmas tree was put on top of that dish which she had taken in a plate, and which was covered with a cloth. Oh, a wonderful pudding, Bob Cratchit said. So after seeing that cannonball-sized pudding, which was along with brandy, and on the top of that there was leaf of Christmas, a sign of dignity, a sign of something prosperity. So this was total there, and so that is why it wandered to Bob Cratchit, and he said that, oh, wonderful pudding, and calmly too, that he regarded as the greatest success achieved by Mrs. Cratchit in their marriage. So as we know that it was a poor family, Mrs. Cratchit had not served this type of things ever in her life. So that is why Bob Cratchit said that with calm mood, he said that this is best before, after this marriage we have done. So after our marriage, this is best you have done this, serve the pudding is best after marriage, because it is taking all type of uniqueness, and on this Christmas Eve, this is good that you are serving us this pudding, and you are fulfilling our wishes. So then students, Mrs. Cratchit said that now the weight was off her mind. She would confess she had had doubts about the quantity of flour. So before the starting of meal, Mrs. Cratchit's mother has had doubt that flour would be lesser in eating and quantity, comparing the four children and two mother father. So comparing six member of family and the quantity of flour, she was thinking that it would be less and it would be insufficient. So, but she confessed that I was thinking so, but we are lucky that nothing is now in less condition, and nothing is our hunger is fulfilled. So this is good. My her confession was there and her doubt was clear that that time she was happy that what she made was full and was okay to all member, and nothing was in scarcity, nothing was left to serve. So all members of family had eaten and taken much which was wanted. So so it was all source burden for a large family. It had been flat heresy to do so. So students, now here is twist in this story, that pudding was not so in high quantity, but they had eaten the meal of meat of goose, and that is why that pudding was not something which is to fulfill the hunger of them. It was just kind of tradition which has to be followed. So that is why any of one hadn't or haven't or hasn't complained about less quantity of that pudding. So that is why it was kind of a tradition which they had to follow, and somehow they followed. That is what they were happy. Any Cratchit would have blushed to hint at such thing, and they were not thinking about to feel ashamed of that, because they were happy that at least they had pudding and they are enjoying that. At last the dinner was all done, the cloth was cleared, the hearth swept and the fire made up. So after eating and finishing the dinner, they swept all the areas, cleaned the copper, and cleaned the cloth used in cooking and all nearby area at the same time. And students, the compound in jug being tested and considered perfect, apples and oranges were put on the table. So she had a which I told brandy, so it was in jug. There were some fruits which taken out nearby side, and they tested that juice of jug and a shovel full of chestnut on the fire. So they starting to test that brandy, and they had some chestnuts, that is chestnuts, that is badam. So they had some walnuts and chestnut which they used, and they tried to heat it and warm it, and they left that chestnuts to be warmed, and they started testing on their brandy which was in jug. Then all the Cratchit family drew round there, then they sat on a round table like this, from one side, like their face can seen in the middle of that dining table. And in what wood Cratchit called a circle, meaning half a one, and above Cratchit so elbow stood the family display of glass, 2 tumblers and a custard cup without a handle. So they were sitting roundly, and there was 2 glasses. Tumblers means glasses. Tumblers means glasses, and custard cup, that means kaase ka cup, custard cup, kaase ka cup, that is bronze. If you see science, kaase ka cup, bronze cup. So there was bronze cup and custard cup and 2 glass on the table, and that bronze cup had not any handle. These had the hot stuff from the jug, however, as well as golden goblets would have beaming looks. So after that, mixture of wines, mixed, Bob started serving and giving all that brandy, that golden goblets. Here golden goblets, that means golden color of brandy, and goblets means jam. Pack of that brandy. So he was serving to all and would have done, and Bob served it without beaming looks, while the chestnuts on the fire sputtered and cracked noisily. Then Bob proposed. So slowly he started to serve in his 2 glass and 1 cup, and at the same time he was looking for the chestnut who was getting warming and getting breaming and getting sputtering. So they sputtered, cracked noisily after being warmed. So then Bob proposed. So then, taking that chestnut, that warm chestnut from that copper and that stalk, and using that, taking that chestnut in hand and his brandy, wine on the cups and glasses, he offered and proposed them and said them, "A Merry Christmas to us, my dears, God bless us," which all the family re-echoed. "God bless us," everyone said in the last of all. So students, they celebrated Christmas, they wished to each other, they proposed to each other about Christmas, and what they had, what they prepared for that evening, they tried their best. And it is a message in this family, in this story, that his family was being so positive, so optimistic, and that is why in the time of hardness, in the time of poverty, they used their sense and they prepared their Christmas evening, Christmas festival as being prepared, as being celebrated. And this was an extract from Christmas Carol novel written by Charles Dickens, which is completed today. So students, in this video it was the end, and if any query or question is there, you can ask on my number. Students, till then, have a nice day. Thank you.